Hey academic besties, welcome to another episode of Soulful Studies Sunday. One of my favorite time management quotes of all time was said by Stephen Covey. And he said that the key to managing your time and managing your life is not to prioritize your schedule, but rather to schedule your priorities. You have to get really clear on what's important to you, what it is that you want to spend time on, and what actually deserves your time. Because I've said this so many times, you're only going to get 24 hours in a day, and really it's up to you what you spend time on. So that's really what the premise of this video is going to be about, showing you how I plan out my day as a college student and as a person who now has a career, as well as how I decide what my priorities are and how that leads to how I schedule out my day. So what you're looking at here in this board, which I'll lift up so that you guys can see the last one in a second, but what you're looking at is my priorities. I'm going to go through them, and the order that you see them listed here is the order in which I consider them to be the most important. So the first priority for me really is personal growth and spiritual growth. So that's time working on my skills as a person. It's time for me to work out. It's time for me to spend in meditation. So that's the first thing that I consider to be my priority. It's the thing that I always schedule time for in my schedule. The second thing is my relationship with Elvis. So Elvis is my partner, my boyfriend of 11 years, and our relationship, developing it, and eventually having a family is very important to me, and I make sure that my schedule shows that this is one of the priorities in my life. The third thing is Rock at College and my business as a study skills strategist. When I was in nursing school, this is actually where school went. So my college classes, my college curriculum, my nursing program, that was the third priority for me. And my schedule showed that when I created it and planned it out every single week. The fourth thing that is a priority for me is my nursing career. So I have an associate in nursing because I have a bachelor's in something else, and I do eventually want to go back to school to either get my bachelor's of science in nursing or a midwifery degree. I haven't decided which route I want to go yet. And then the last thing, which I will lift this up for you so that you can see, is extracurricular activities. Watching TV, it's volunteering, it's time spent reading and hanging out with friends or families. So as you can see, I've listed out my priorities. I'm very clear on what it is that I want to develop in my life. I'm very clear on what gets my time. If I don't have time for anything else in my life, I am completely content, because the way I plan my life is designed based off of what I consider to be important. A lot of you have emailed me saying that you feel super overwhelmed. You feel like you're running around, that you're constantly busy, but you're not seeing the fruits of your labor. And I have to be honest with you, the reason why you don't have time is because you're not scheduling it into your life. You're letting someone else dictate where your time goes. You're not focusing your attention and focusing your time and being intentional with your time when you're creating your schedule every week. And I guarantee you that you spend more time going out with your friends on Friday night and getting drunk than you do about your day-to-day life and the things that you actually care about, the things that you're actually going to think about when you're lying on a hospital bed taking your last breath. A little morbid, but I had to go there to kind of snap you into reality that you're the only person in control of your life. And if you're not happy with the way that it's going, if you're not happy with how you're spending your time, you're 100% to blame for that. So moving on, you might notice that I have some colors next to my priorities. And this is just the colors that you're gonna see in my planner when I turn the camera and show you how I actually plan out my week. So purple is for, my time, me time, personal growth time, spiritual growth time. Pink in my planner is actually for time with Elvis, but I didn't have a pink Sharpie, so I had to use red. Anything that's related to my business, growing Rock at College, growing the college productivity kit, that's all in blue. My nursing career, all of that will be in green. And then extracurricular activities are in orange. And If you're wondering how I decide how much time I spend on each thing, last week I created a video where I talk about how to break down your time every single week between your work schedule, your college coursework, your freedom time. So make sure that you check that video out. I'll make sure to put a link to it somewhere inside of this video so that you can easily access it. And if you're not sure how to figure out what your priorities are, in a blog post that I wrote last week, it gave you some questions to help you think about and really pinpoint what it is that's important to you. Make sure that you check out that blog post because there are some questions there that will actually get you thinking and looking deep into your soul to figure out what's actually important to you in your life at this moment, because things will change. When I have kids, obviously this is going to change. My priorities are going to flip around, but for this stage in my life, these are the things that are important to me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you my planner, and I'm going to show you how I go about breaking down my tasks every single week and scheduling time based off of these 5 priorities. This is the planner that I used all throughout nursing school. It's called the Planner Pad in case you were interested in it. So what I wanted to show you is how I use the priorities and the different categories of my life as a student and how my schedule represents what I said was important to me and what my priorities are. So the first thing that I do every single week is on Sunday nights, I brain dump. Now, on top of this planner, I usually also have a list that breaks down all of my exams, papers, and projects into all the different tasks that make it up. And I have that list with me, and based off of due dates, my monthly view of my planner, I decide what absolutely must get done this week, or else I will fail the class, miss a deadline, etc. And I decide and brain dump right at the top what I have to do that week for each of those classes. Now, the only thing that goes up here is what absolutely must get done that week. The second thing is I create my schedule based off of my priority. So the very first thing that gets scheduled is everything that is set in stone. And for this case, it's the internship, right? As well as class time. So the class time is in blue, the internship is in green. So all of that gets scheduled first. Then what I do is I go based off of my priorities. So the very next thing that has to get scheduled is my personal growth time. So all of that is in purple. And as you can see, a lot of my schedule is filled up in purple. And that's okay because that's what I've decided is important to me. And now when I say personal growth, I'm not watching YouTube videos. I'm working on myself. The second thing that gets scheduled is school study time. So that is all in pink. So as you can see, again, the study time takes up a lot of my schedule, and that matches up with the fact that it's the second thing on my priority list. The third thing is time with family and friends, and for that, I just use it in all the white space. And I can also use my free time, right? My personal time. So this whole day is blocked off for me to either spend time by myself, spend time with my friends, spend time with my family. It's how I choose to spend my time. I haven't color coded that, but you can color code it differently. I can also use this blank space, all the white space, to spend time with my family and my friends if I choose to. Now the fourth thing on my priority, which is the next thing that I schedule every week, so these are the things that I'm choosing to spend my time on, is my internship. Now my internship is only once a week in this pretend scenario. It's on Tuesdays for about 4 hours. The very last thing that gets scheduled that is still a priority to me is extracurricular. So that's time that I can spend reading a fictional book. It's watching mindless YouTube videos. It's time that I can spend doing whatever I want. And that's the last thing that gets scheduled in. Now you'll notice that there's still a lot of white space left over, and I can choose to do whatever I want during that time. Now what happens, right, if you're looking at this and you're like, well, I'm not a full-time student, I work part-time. still, you have a lot of time for yourself. I haven't worked on the weekend part of it, but let's pretend that you give Sunday just for you to spend time on you. It's still a lot of time for you to spend studying and for you to still go to work and for you to do adult things like cooking and cleaning. It's all about scheduling your priorities. Now, this middle section, in case you were wondering, this is where the to-do go, and I always just pick the top 3 things that must get done that day. So what I do is I take a look at the time that I have to study, and then based on how much time I have and how much time I think activities are going to take, I'll pick from up here, and it keeps me on track because the things that must get done that day get done. So I hope that you found this video helpful, and I hope that you got clearer on what your priorities are and how those priorities can help you create a more balanced schedule, more balanced life, and help you manage your time as a college student. And if you want more tips like this, if you want to know how I set this type of schedule up in my favorite productivity app, Trello, make sure that you go ahead and download the study plan template cram sheet down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed the episode of Soulful Studies Sunday you just watched. I have so many more study skills and practical college advice in the Rock at College system, a step-by-step blueprint for creating your own study system. Get better grades without the stress, overwhelm, and lack of social life over at rockatcollege.com.